In today's video, we're detailing this Audi A4, plus testing out some 303 products. Check it out. Hello everybody, my name is Phil. Welcome to Miranda Detailing, where we make satisfying detailing videos. So in today's video, we are detailing this Audi A4. It's going to be an exterior only, and we're doing a single stage polish. Now, this poor Audi has quite a few defects. It's a jet black paint. The trunk has some deep scratches that have been tried to cover over, but we're going to have to do some wet sanding, correct those, fix those as best we can, and the rest of it will be polished, and we'll be using fast finish for the protection as well. So with this video, you're going to notice with the single stage, I use HD speed, as well as I use HD polish and a few other things. Again, when you're working on a vehicle that has multiple issues with the paint, you do have to switch it up. You can't just use one product, one pad, and that's it. You're going to notice that that may work for a certain panel, and then as you work along, you get to panels that are painted, and everything gets switched up. So that's one thing to keep in mind when polishing is find your combo that you want to use that is kind of your go-to. So my go-to is usually either HD speed or polish, HD polish of course, and an orange, either Buff and Shine, Lake Country, or Griot's Garage pad. And I'll start with that first and see where that goes. A couple of section passes, see how well that does, maybe do a second hit. And if it works, then I use that around the vehicle until I get to an area where maybe I need to either bump up the aggressiveness and maybe use a microfiber pad with D300, or if I can use another polish, maybe M100, M105, M205, whatever it is. Sometimes you have to switch it up as you work around the vehicle. But with polishing, that's just the way it is. Each vehicle is different. Sometimes each panel might be different. You run into repainted panels, and you have to kind of rethink your process as you go through that. So you'll see that I use a couple of different products as I go through this, especially on the trunk area, because I do have to do some wet sanding and correct some of those areas as well, even though they're not going to come out perfect because those scratches are extremely deep. And the paint readings on it are normal, but I don't like to wet sand too much anyway. So I get the majority of it out and I make it look much better. Those scratches are still there if you see them in direct sunlight, but again, this is just a single stage polish and the customer was happy with the results. So if the customer's happy, I'm happy, and we leave it at that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you guys at the end.
want to wait. Tico, 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 tock. Tico, tick. Oh, tico, 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 tock. Tico, tick. Oh, tico, 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 tock.
So this stuff works really well. It dissolves the gunk, as you can see. Has a nice fruity smell to it. Comes out kind of like a bluishy purple tint. Works really well. It's a pleasant product to work with.
Tico, 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 tock. Tico, tick. Oh, tico, 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 tock. I'm like woo-woo. The one my heart has gone to mean I want to wait. Mean I want to wait. Tico, tick. Oh, tico, 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 tock. Tico, tick. Oh, tico, 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 tock. Tico, tick. Oh, tico, 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 tock. Tico, tick. Oh, tico, tico, tock. This tico, tico, he's a cuckoo in my car.
Bring it back.
So 303 tire and rubber cleaner. Pretty good stuff. You could see it working on the dirt and the grime and gunk that was on the tires. It says it's a fast-acting formula, removes tire browning. So, you know, you could use it on tires, you can use it on any vinyl and rubber. And it leaves the vinyl and the rubber really nice and clean. And it smells nice, which is a plus. I like nice smelling products. It just makes a more pleasant working environment. So the Audi is cleaned, it's been washed, it's been decontaminated. So you can already see in the flat light there's some defects right there that we're going to work out. And yeah, the paint is pretty trashed. It's just a flat black. And there's a few little chips that we're going to touch up as well. So pretty much the whole vehicle looks like this. And there's some bad areas on the trunk lid as well. So the roof is like that. Everything is just swirled and marred up like crazy. It's just still a little wet. I was just drying it. And it's wet and humid today. So these are some deep scratches that some touch-up was applied. So we're going to see what we can do with that. If we can maybe lightly wet sand it out, we'll see. Sometimes these paint touch-up paints harden really hard because of course it's applied thicker. It's applied with a brush as opposed to spraying on a panel, and it hardens up extremely hard, and it's really difficult to sand out. Same with the bumper, it's got a lot of damage. We'll see what we can do with this, but some of this is not going to come out at all. It's pretty heavy defects. Now I did find a small patch of overspray, so something was repainted here. I'll just take some paint readings, paint depth readings, and see what panels have a lot of paint on it. So this can be removed, just a little wet sanding and compounding, and this will come right out. And of course the pillars are horrible. Look at that. That's terrible. So this service is going to be the Onyx Paint Enhancement service. So essentially a one-step, but sometimes I go a little beyond to try to really cut the defects by 50% or more and really just improve the paint overall, and we'll hit those areas in the trunk lid and that overspray patch on the top there, compound it, polish it, and make that look better as well, and also do some paint touch-up on the rock chips in the front. This is what we're going to be using today. So I always love HD speed, HD polish, and really, I mean, this is HD polish with epoxy in it, I guess, so the Monton wax blend. So this seems easier to remove at times. This not so much at times. It's weird, it can be finicky with humidity, but this is easier to wipe off than this sometimes. I don't know why. And this is the Plus, so they reformulated something. I'm not really sure. And I'll use the correction compound for getting out some of those other defects, the harder defects on the trunk lid. And I'll be using my Lake Country orange pads that I love. And you'll see that HD Speed, you know, because it has a purple dye in it, it just dyes these. So these are, of course, clean, but it just dyes the spots where I put the product. And my trusty microfiber discs from Meguiar's. And these are cheap foam pads that I got online. I think I got them on eBay. They're really, really cheap. But they seem to be pretty good foam. It's not too bad. I'll blow this out, of course, because it's windy here today and there's some gunk getting on it. But I'll blow these out. And as you see, you know, these are like the 3.5 inch pads from Meguiar's. So this is pretty much 3 inches exactly. And they do work well. So, not too bad. So here I'm going to do my test spot. So I always start on the passenger side on this corner here and this fender, and I work my way around the vehicle counterclockwise, and of course the top when I'm on that side, the driver's side. So, and then I usually do the bumpers last. Everybody's got their own routine, so that's just mine. So I'm going to do my test spot here and hit this little like 2-foot square area. And I'm going to use HD Speed first with my Roops 15 and the orange Lake Country pad and see what results that will bring. So here's what we're shooting for. So you see how the paint is here, and as we go into the polished area, that haziness goes away. It's not going to get everything, but it's designed to get rid of that horrible looking mess. And then it looks like that. So much improved. That was just a few passes. So I'm going to switch over to HD Polish and go a little bit further and see if we can improve that anymore. Okay, so even a bigger improvement. So here's before, and now we go into the after. Much better. That's what it was before, that's after. That's what I'm shooting for. That's crazy. Oh, that's much, much better. So it can drive you a little nuts if you want to make this look perfect. You have to go full paint correction, but that's not what we're doing today. We're doing the single step or one step, and I do go a little beyond that. A few extra passes, a little bit more aggressive to get those results. That's what we're looking for. Ooh, this is interesting. Alright guys, so 303 was nice enough to send me some products to try out, and these ones I haven't seen in stores. Actually, I really haven't seen them online until now, but they sent me some products to try out. So this is their tire balm in protectant. So basically like a tire dressing. It says that it protects it, dries quickly, no greasy residue, easy application, so we'll check that out today. We have their spray wax. We also have their tire and rubber cleaner. So, and then their stain guard, which I'm not sure if it's different from their fabric guard, which I buy in the gallon form, but we'll use this on some other vehicles. This vehicle today is going to be an exterior only service. So what we'll do is we'll use the tire and rubber cleaner on the rubber tires, of course, and then we'll use this for the tire dressing. And it says this lasts up to 90 days. That's pretty awesome. So don't know if I'll try it on this vehicle, or maybe we'll try it on a few others. So thank you 303, appreciate that. So with the test spot, that's going to give me an idea of how to work around the entire vehicle. So I'll probably hit the panels twice with HD polish. I think I'm going to stick with HD polish and work around the entire vehicle with the orange pad. If I need to step it up, I might go D300 with the orange light pad. So that's a little bit more aggressive, using a compound instead of the polish. And if that works on some areas that are a little bit worse than others, then we'll do that. So you might have to switch up your combo as you go to each panel, because some panels might be worse than others, some might be repainted, so the paint will act differently. So as you go around the paint, you got to remember that. So have on hand a couple of different polishes and compounds, a couple of different pads, and you might switch up your technique just a little bit as you go from panel to panel. But usually HD speed or polish with the orange country, lake country pads is my go-to. So I always start with that first, and then I'll switch it up if I need to as I go around the vehicle. So check out the links that I have. I'll put them up here. It goes right to our website, and you can look at all the different products that we use, and just click on the links, brings you right to Amazon, so you can purchase the products easily. And also another shout out to 303 for sending me these products. I'm pretty excited about using the tire balm and protectant. We're going to use that on the tires today. So we already used the tire and rubber cleaner, and that did a fantastic job at cleaning the tires. I was actually very impressed with it. It acted just like a strong degreaser without the nasty degreaser caustic smell to it. It actually smelled really nice and fruity. So nice product to work with. So I'll have some links to those products as well. So you notice when I was working this panel, the arm speed was pretty slow, and I did maybe 3 to 4 section passes. and I was just putting medium pressure, not a lot of pressure, just medium pressure, and you want to make sure that this pad continues to spin. So with your dual action polishers like the Roots 15, if you come across, like especially here, you have to work the polisher just a little bit to find that right angle so that the pad continues to rotate. Because when it does come up to an angle like this, or a line in the paint, like a little dip or a curve, it will stall the pad out, and it'll just basically vibrate and it won't rotate. So remember that when working around these. You can get around that using even a big machine like this. Just make sure to angle the pad just correctly, just tweak it a little bit to work around these parts. Or you can just use a 2-inch or 3-inch polisher. I do have my quarter cable set with a 3-inch backing plate that I can use, but usually I find that this works pretty well if you just tweak the angle just a little bit. But slow section passes, a few of them, and the paint clears up nicely. So there's before and after. You notice it has a lot of chips and road rash that just kind of make it look worse. It's a flat black, there's no metallic, but there's just a lot of chips. And that does kind of take away from the finish. Yep. If those weren't there, the paint would look much better, but the light catches it and makes it look really bad. But huge improvement from that, with all that movement and swirls and hazing, to that. Much, much better. So from that horrible mess, and then it looks better here. But see, deep, deep scratches. Deep marring marks here. I might hit that again just to make it look better. So you can slow down your arm movement when you're polishing, when you go over those areas, to be a little bit more aggressive on them, to try to polish them out. Alright, let's continue. Much better. So remember, horrible and much better.